Our topic for the day is elements, compounds, and mixtures. These are the most basic concepts in chemistry. Chemistry is made up of these concepts and completely revolved around this. Consider BODMAS in maths. No matter what your problem, you will always be using BODMAS, whether it is algebra, geometry, or anything that involves numericals. The same potential is of this topic in chemistry. Classification of matter. This topic is not similar to the states of matter. For that, I will be adding a link on your upper right screen, or if you want to watch it at the end of this video, I will add the video there as well. Let's move on. Matter is classified into two types, mixed substances and pure substances. A substance that has a fixed composition and fixed chemical property is known as a pure substance. For example, we all know that water molecule is represented as H2O. Whether you take a sample from America, Asia or Africa, the water molecule will always be H2O. Mixed substance. Mixed substance is a substance that is a combination of pure substances. Now, pure substances are further classified into elements and compounds, and mixed substance is also known as heterogeneous or homogeneous substances. So, let's move on to these sub-classifications. First up is elements. Elements are substances that are made up of very small particles called atoms. As you can see on your screen, what you see is an oxygen molecule. Now, you must be wondering why a single oxygen molecule is represented as two circles. This is because one molecule of oxygen has two atoms. Now, elements are classified into metals, non-metals and metalloids. First is metals. Metals are most popularly known elements. For example, copper, silver, gold, etc. Now let's talk about some of these properties. They are usually solids at room temperature except for mercury, which is found in liquid state at room temperature. You can see it in a thermometer, the red liquid is mercury. They have high melting and boiling points, and this is the same reason why they are good conductors of heat and electricity. They are malleable, which means they can be beaten into thin sheets. In your screen to the right, you will find the picture of lead. At the back, you can see a lot of lead bars, but in the front, you can see lead sheets. They are ductile, which means they can be stretched to make thin wires. For example, a copper wire, a spring, etc. You can see that the metals are shining in the picture. It means they are lustrous. Lustrous means shiny. If your coin falls down, they will make a sound which makes them sonorous. Sonorous means a metal making sound. Now let's move on to non-metals. Unlike metals, they may be solids, liquids or gases at room temperature. They have low melting and boiling points, which makes them bad conductors of heat and electricity. They are non-malleable and non-ductile. Non-metals that exist as solids are brittle, which means they break into pieces when hit by a force, for example through a hammer. They are non-sonorous as well as non-lustrous. Now let's talk about the third type, which is metalloids. Metalloids are elements that possess the properties of both metals as well as non-metals. For example, arsenic, germanium, silicon, boron, etc. Now let's talk about chemical symbol of an element. A chemical symbol is the representation of an atom of an element. For example, the chemical symbol of hydrogen is H, whereas of oxygen is O. A lot of elements have their chemical symbols adapted from the Latin names as well. For example, if you consider copper, copper's Latin name is cuprum, hence its chemical symbol is Cu. I'll give you one more example. Gold's Latin name is aurum, hence its chemical symbol is Au. So you need to keep that in mind that chemical symbols might be from their English names as well as from their Latin names as well. Now we will learn how to write chemical formula of an element. It's very easy, you just need to understand what this concept is about. The chemical formula of an element is the representation of a molecule of the particular atom. So first we talked about chemical symbol which deals with the atom of the element. Now, when we talk about chemical formula, we have to consider molecule of an element. For example, as we earlier saw, the molecule of oxygen is represented as O2, and that is its chemical formula. So it means that one molecule of oxygen contains two atoms, but the chemical formula is O. To know more about chemical formula of an element, we must also know about its atomicity. Now, what is atomicity? Atomicity is the number of atoms present in one molecule of an element. Here, we must understand that everything is interconnected. Hence, we should know the relation between all these topics. Remember, elements are made up of molecules and molecules are made up of atoms. Just keep in mind four terms: monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, and polyatomic. If a molecule of an element has only one atom, then it is monoatomic. If a molecule of an element has two atoms, then it's called diatomic. If a molecule of an element has three atoms, then it is known as triatomic. Also, if the molecule of an element has more than two atoms, they are also known as polyatomic. So, I have also given you examples of monoatomic, which is sodium, diatomic, oxygen, hydrogen, triatomic, ozone. Now, next I have given you a homework that you will have to do and is completely based on what we have learned till now. So I hope you can write the chemical symbols and chemical formulae of the following questions. Now let's move on to compounds. A compound is a substance that is formed when two or more elements combine chemically in a fixed proportion. For example, water is a combination of hydrogen as well as oxygen. Chemical formula of a compound. Again, this is very simple to the elements and it is very similar to the elements one. The chemical formula of a compound is the representation of a molecule of the compound. So, for example, water is represented as H2O. The way hydrogen and oxygen are represented as H and O, the chemical symbol of water is H2O. Okay. Now let's move on to the mixtures. Mixtures are also known as mixed substances, so do not get confused with those terms. A mixed substance or a mixture is made up of two or more pure substances and they retain their original properties. For example, dough is a mixture of flour and water. Lemon juice is a mixture of sugar, water, and lemon. A mixture does not have a definite composition. A mixture does not have specific boiling and melting points, a characteristic color, smell, or taste. So, mixture is complete opposite of pure substances. The main property that separates mixtures from compounds is the ability to separate the components of a mixture by various separation techniques. So, when a compound is formed, you cannot separate its constituents. But when a mixture is formed, you can definitely separate the mixtures, the components of those mixtures. So now we have certain separation techniques that we are not going to get in much detail, but we must know what these are. So there are 5 important separation techniques to keep in mind. They are sieving, sedimentation and decantation, filtration, evaporation, and magnetic separation. So sieving and filtration are very much similar, but sieving is done for large scale, and in sieving both the constituents are solids, but in filtration one is solid and one is liquid. So you can, for example, you can take in filtration straining of tea. We all love tea, so straining of tea would be a much better example here. Sedimentation and decantation is that you keep the rainwater in a beaker and after some time the mud in the water will get settled in the beaker, and what we'll have left on the upper side is only the water, so that will be pure water, and that is known as sedimentation and decantation. Evaporation, we know we separate salt from salty water through evaporation. And the last is magnetic separation, in which magnetic materials are separated from non-magnetic materials. That's it for today, guys. Thank you.